Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin, and I'm so grateful you joined. We're going to be taking a look at a ton of charts today. Is a pump incoming, or is the dump about to happen? Actually, if we take a look at crypto bubbles, you can see that market's relatively green today, right? Render is up 12.9%, Hype 9.3, Pith 12.8. Even our little darling that has dumped so hard, Super Blockchain. Market looks great on a day. Let's check it on the week. And it's even better. We got some tokens like Virtual up 27%, Hype or Hyperliquid 20%, Core up 18. We did sell a little bit of this one, and Render has a nice little run this week. But is this going to last with the altcoins? Hard to say, but I'll tell you this: Bitcoin dominance is looking extremely strong today. And here in a minute, we're going to take a look at all the charts. But before we begin, please like and subscribe, ping that notification bell, and check out all the links below, especially our own Dad's DeFi Space. And check out our articles, their free DeFi course, and consider joining our private group. So enough about that. What I want to do real quickly is take a look at the Bitcoin chart on TradingView. Now, Bitcoin has been highly correlated with the stock market lately, but people are talking about it decoupling. I don't think this is true. I actually believe that Bitcoin still behaves like a tech stock on steroids, kind of like Tesla options. Maybe not quite that bad, but you get the idea if you have not been in the crypto space for that long. But enough about the S&P. I wanted to take a look at the Bitcoin chart. I think this chart explains a lot. We have been in a downtrend since Bitcoin hit 109,000. And as you can see, we are fighting so hard right now to try to get back above this on the weekly. Now, if I take a look at the daily chart, we have wicked above it, what? 1, 2, 3, 4 days. In fact, 3 days ago, we actually wicked all the way up to our resistance line at 86,400, 86,500. You do know that we don't like to use exact numbers here at Dad's DeFi Space, but on the daily, we are fighting to break that downtrend right here. And before I can truly be bullish on the entire market again, I have to see Bitcoin get above this trend line, above the 200-week moving average, which is right now around 87,850, let's say. After that, we need to reclaim 91. What's really great, though, is once we get above 86 right here, 86,500, it's open until we hit 91. These are just price points that I'm looking at with Bitcoin, and I take this information into consideration when I'm deploying liquidity, if I was trading, whatever I'm doing within the crypto markets, right? So is it going to pump or is it going to dump? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, it's hard to say. We need a little bit more time and a little bit more data before we really know where Bitcoin's going to go. But on that note, I did not mean to do that. Hold on. On that note, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Now, Bitcoin dominance, extremely important chart to look at throughout market cycles. When Bitcoin dominance is up, altcoins are bleeding back into Bitcoin. So the price can go down on Bitcoin, but dominance can go up, and price can go up on Bitcoin, and dominance can go up. What we don't want as altcoin investors is for Bitcoin dominance to go up while price goes down. That means altcoins are bleeding even worse than Bitcoin. Just something to think about. But if you take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, you can see that we have broken above our trend line. Right now, we are sitting at, let's see, today around 64%. Yesterday, we got as high as 64.2%. 2%. And as you can see, Bitcoin dominance has been, Bitcoin dominance has been on a tear all the way back from, the fall of 22. All of us out there should have listened to Ben at Into the Cryptoverse a little bit more, and we probably wouldn't have had our altcoin portfolios bleed so badly. Thank God I provide liquidity with a lot of those chains that we're working with. That does help quite a bit. Now, what I wanted to look at next is our Ethereum chart. Ethereum has been in a massive downtrend. I want to go on the weekly for this one. As you can see on the Ethereum charts, we have broken way below, all the way down 1,800 to be on an uptrend, probably more than that. And look how far away we are from the 200-week moving average. You look at the daily, I don't know all about this, but I wanted to pull up, see where we are on our RSI. So the relative strength index helps us to see kind of momentum within the market. The yellow line would be the moving average. As you can see, if we go all the way back to the peak of Ethereum, we were sitting right at around 60 level. Right now, you're basically around 35. We have a long way to go, and it's hard to say if we will even get back up above the 70 level this market cycle. I just don't know yet. But if we can't regain some momentum on Ethereum, which I don't think is going to happen until the Fed starts releasing more liquidity into the market, but with so much, I know that M2 is rising, but the Fed is still tightening. And I still believe that until more money is flowing out of the Fed, it's going to be hard for Ethereum and altcoins to run. The last chart I wanted to look at before we look at some of the news today is the Ethereum BTC chart. Yeah, it looks like it has bad. I don't know how much longer I'm going to talk about this, but I mean, it is a massive downtrend. It's been bleeding anymore. I mean, right now we're sitting at what? 0.9. The last time we talked about this, I think we said we could go all the way back to 0.18. Bottom of the last cycle, we were looking at 0.6. We're getting closer and closer to that bottom. Just something to think about. But I still think, as bad as it looks, this right here, anything below the blue trend line is still a good time to dollar cost average into Ethereum. Not financial advice, of course. Nothing in these videos should be considered financial advice. But on that note, let's take a look at the news. So we're going to go over onto our X account. These were some things that we collected throughout the week. First and foremost, everyone's waiting, and that is Mantra. Now, Mantra dropped 90%. And this literally happened almost on an hourly candle. I mean, crazy. Now, that means it went from around $5.50 and walloped all the way down to 0.42. Now, if you look at the news, many people are blaming the team. They sold tokens. But one thing really that you should consider when investing is know the team, know the tokenomics, do the research so you aren't one to suffer losses like many of the things that I saw concerning token. I saw people who had hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in this that have lost all of it. Never, ever invest more than you can afford to lose, and never, ever put all your eggs into one basket. Whether this was a true rug pull or, like the team said, leveraged liquidations or something, I don't know what that even means. You really should check out our video that's going to be coming out on crypto scams, and check out the CoffeeZilla interview of one of the founders. It sounded a little fishy to me, but that's just my opinion. Who am I but just some dad who likes to talk about crypto and DeFi? Now, we're also going to be coming out with a video on stable coins. I'm still working on it. Hopefully sometime next week, and a bunch more things in the pipeline, the Crystal Finance, and especially the scam video. That's the one I want to work on possibly first. Now, a couple other things I wanted to discuss today before we get off. April 16th, yesterday, Solana flipped all other chains by their 7-day DEX volume. And what's so cool about this, if we go to DeFi Llama, right, and we check out, and I'm going to make a video about chain research here in the next few days. Also, you can go to the chain section on DeFi Llama and we can compare chains, and you can see that Solana has basically outperformed everything. The only thing even close would be Ethereum. Yeah, as you can see, Ethereum like skyrockets above everybody else. But you can see the green, which is Solana, wallops Arbitrum, right? Wallops Base, although Base is a little better than Arbitrum. And if I was to put up a chain like Avalanche, I know I've talked about it a lot. Avalanche is way lower than everyone else. So Solana has a ton of total value locked. That tells me I want to do some yield farming over on Solana because I might have a better chance of earning more fees. That's just a simplified way of how I look at where is the liquidity going and where might I want to provide. Now, going back to our X account, you can see Solana surpassed Ethereum by almost $1 billion over the last 7 days. That's crazy. That is crazy. And that's a win for the Solana holders out there. Let's see. I also wanted to talk today about Bitcoin bonds. So I'm not probably going to purchase any myself if something like this was going to happen, but the investment firm Van Eck proposed Bitcoin-linked treasury bonds to offset our debt, which is crazy. So the way this would work is the bond would have a 10% exposure to Bitcoin plus earn so much yield that would be paid out. These would be 10-year securities. And what I'm getting at with the Bitcoin bonds and what you need to understand is that Bitcoin bonds is going to create more demand in the crypto market, and that is going to create a lot of price appreciation, which is a good thing for us. The market has been such a downtrend for, it seems like, forever, but these are the times that we really should be locking in and focusing on strong assets that we truly believe in. And the only way to truly get that belief is by doing your own research. Now, what I wanted to look at the end of the day is just a couple of our articles on Dad's DeFi space. Most recently, our stablecoin article, which we believe is going to be a huge altcoin catalyst a little bit later in the cycle. And the biggest crypto token and exchange scams, we're going to get into a history lesson looking at Terra Luna, the BitConnect scam, and OneCoin, many others out there that go from many previous crypto market cycles. And if you decide to join the page, consider joining our private group also, and you can get access to my DeFi portfolio reviews and some of my more in-depth altcoin reviews. I got a lot in the pipeline, but we're just kind of slowly pumping out that information. But I hope that you all enjoyed my kind of shortened stream today. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Check out all of our links, help support our channel and my work, and check out Dad's DeFi Space, Underdog Investment Group, Blowfin, Weeks Exchanges if you're into trading. Help support us and stay safe out there. Enjoy your crypto and DeFi investing journeys. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.